Welcome to the solutions to the quadratics questions. It's one of my favourite topics, this. So we're going to start off by solving by factorising x squared minus 4x minus 45 equals 0. So first of all we're going to factorise it. So factorising, putting into double brackets, in this case, not always. And we've got 45. So we start with the 45, and 45 can be made by 1 times 45. It's not in the 2 times table, it's 3 times 15, and it's 5 times 9. And out of all of those ones, 5 and 9 could be used to make 4. So we can use 5 and 9. So there's our x's and our 5 and 9. Now, we want to get a minus 4, so that means we're going to have a plus 5 and a minus 9. That's the factorising bit. Now we're going to do the solve bit. So we've got two brackets, we've got the green bit and we've got the blue bit, and together they multiply to give us 0, and that means one of them must be 0. So to make the first bracket 0, x would have to equal negative 5. To make the second bracket 0, x would have to equal 9. So those are our two solutions there, and that's 3 marks. Now, question 2, we've got another quadratic equation, and this time we're asked to give our answer correct to 3 significant figures. So that's telling us really we're going to need to use the formula, and the formula is in the front of the exam book, but if you need to look it up it probably means you haven't used it enough. So it's minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. That bit's called discriminant, and on the bottom is 2a, and a equals 3 because that's the number here, b equals 2. These numbers are called coefficients, by the way, that's the coefficient of x, and c equals negative 4, so the signs, notice, come with them, and we just substitute. So we've got minus 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4 times 3 times minus 4, and you'll notice I've put the negative 4 in brackets and all over 2 times 3. Now you reach for your calculator. You should have your Casio calculator with a natural display, which means you can use the fraction button, and it looks like this on your calculator. I'm sure you know where it is. And you can actually type in this expression here exactly like it looks. So start by pressing that and then just put all those bits in. Now, you clearly can't type in a plus or minus, so you first of all type in the plus and then hit equals, and that will give you an answer of 0.869, and then you use the big blue button to edit it and go back and change it to a minus, hit equals again, and you'll get the other solution. Remember, there's 2 solutions to a quadratic, 1.54, and they're both to 3 significant figures. Don't forget to round correctly. Question 3. We're asked to write this quadratic expression in this form, and this is called completed square form. So very straightforward. Start off with the bracket and the x, and then we halve the coefficient of x, so that's minus 3. Half of minus 6 is minus 3. Then we put the squared, and hopefully you can see that I've done that bit now. Now once you've put the bracket in there, you have to compensate for putting it into the brackets by subtracting the square of this number. Okay, so whatever it is, you subtract the square of it, and 3 squared is 9. And then we put our plus 1 on the end. Okay, so this bit here is compensation for putting it into the brackets. And then we just tidy it up. So it's x minus 3 squared minus 8. And that is our final answer here. Now, it says hence or otherwise solve the equation, and the hence bit is telling you that you can use the thing you've just done, And the thing to notice is that this is the same as this, which means that we can replace it with our answer. So we've got x minus 3 squared minus 8 equals 0. And because there's only a single x here, we can rearrange this. So we add the 8 across, and that gives us that. And then we square root. And be careful when you square root, because you could have, that's where your plus or minus comes from. And then finally we add the 3 across. Finally, you can simplify the surd. I don't think it's required here, but we'll just do it anyway. Root 8 is root 4 times root 2, and root 4 is 2, so it's 2 root 2. So in simplest form, our two values of x are 3 plus or minus 2 root 2, and there's two solutions there written as 1. Now the challenge question. This is a bit of a catch you out question really, because a lot of people here would think, oh, it's just positive 1, negative 2, but you can't do that because that is not a 0. Not a 0. So what we have to do first of all is multiply it out. So you can use the grid if you want. I'm just going to go x squared plus 2x minus x minus 2 equals 18. And then I'm just going to simplify that up. X squared plus x minus 2 minus 18 equals 0. Now it's 0. Now, good use of an apostrophe. X squared plus x minus 20 equals 0, and now I'm going to see if it factorizes. Factorizing is the quick thing to do if you're quick at it, but it is a lot quicker than using that equation if you can do it. And it looks to me like it's a 4 and a 5. I'm looking at factor 20, and it's a 4 and a 5, and this is positive, which means it's plus 5, negative 4. So my two solutions, x equals 4 or x equals negative 5. And just to go back to why that is again, we've got a blue thing and a green thing, and then multiplied together to make 0, and that's the really important thing, that it makes 0. That's why I rearranged it for 0. And the two things that could make that equal to 0, well, if x was 4, the blue thing would be 0, and 0 times the green thing is 0. And if x was negative 5, the green thing would be 0, and the blue thing times 0 would be 0. The 0 is very important there. Finally, we have a quadratic simultaneous equation. Equation number 1, equation number 2. And notice they both equal y. Well, if they both equal y, we can say that x squared minus 1 equals y, but hang on, y equals 5 minus x. So we've eliminated the y's there. And now we can just rearrange it. And now it's equals 0. Now there's a 0. And we can simplify it. Plus x minus 6 equals 0. And again, I'm going to see if I can factorize it, because factorizing is the quick way of doing this. If you have to use the formula, you've lost really. And I'm thinking it's going to be 3 and 2, and it's going to be plus 3 and minus 2. So our two values of x that could make this 0, we could have x could be negative 3, or x could be 2. And you might be tempted to stop there, but if you did, you lose some marks, because we need to get the y values, and I'm going to use form equation number 2 to do that because it's simpler. So if x is negative 3, y equals 5 minus, getting it from here, minus 3, because x was minus 3, so that means y equals 8. And if x is 2, y equals 5 minus 2, which is 3. So now I have my two pairs of solutions, that pair and that pair. And I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful, and that you're going to try all the rest of the questions that I'm going to send you. Thank you.